Khuda Bakhsh Oriental Public Library, the pride of India, which is fortunate to have the bank of sacred Ganges and the blessings of God as well.
Welcome to Khuda Bakhsh Library.
As the founder's name, Khuda Bakhsh, indicates itself. Khuda Bakhsh Khan, the founder of the library, was a famous lawyer of his time and the Chief Justice in the court of Nizam of Hyderabad, who invested each and every penny of his roaring law practice in making the library rich. Today, most valuable and rare Arabic-Persian manuscripts are preserved here. Scholars from all over the world come to see and read and research on them.
Today we have with us a scholar from St. Bonaventure University of New York, and he is working on Mughal manuscripts, especially those which are having the writings of Shah Jahan.
Khuda Bakhsh Oriental Public Library is the most important cultural heritage of India, famous for its treasures of rare manuscripts and beautiful miniature paintings. The library is a unique collection of historical heritage in the form of manuscripts written on paper, palm and banana leaves, deer skin and cloth.
यहाँ जो है बहुत पुरानी किताबें हैं। आपको ताम्रपत्र पे लिखी हुई, भोजपत्र पे लिखी हुई मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट जो है आपको मिलेगी। लाइब्रेरी में बंद है। आप जब भी चाहें आकर के मैडम से मिलकर के आप अनुमति लें और आप उसको देख सकते हैं।
There are more than 20,000 precious manuscripts in Arabic, Persian, Urdu, Turkish, Pashto languages preserved in this library. Some are unique, which cannot be found anywhere else in the world, and which are treasured only in the Khuda Bakhsh, such as the Timur-Nama, which was produced during the time of Akbar and is the main source for the study of Indian history and culture.
Khuda Bakhsh Library का नादिर तरीन, rarest of the rare manuscript है यूनिक मैनस्क्रिप्ट। इसको तारीख़ ख़ानदान तैमूरिया भी कहते हैं और तैमूर नामा से भी मशहूर है। ये तैमूर के ज़माने से लेके अकबर के 22वें साल तक की हिस्ट्री है। खुदा बख्श लाइब्रेरी का एक रेयर मैनस्क्रिप्ट है दीवान हाफिज़। रेयरिटी इसकी ये है कि इसमें हुमायूं और जहांगीर की राइटिंग देख सकते हैं। हाईली एल्यूमिनेटेड वर्क है शुरू के पेजेस में।
Kitabul Hashaish and Kitabut Tasrif, the Arabic manuscripts which can be rightly called the encyclopedia of medical sciences, are available here. There are also some 3 lakh printed books in the library, mostly in Arabic, Persian, Urdu, English. Some are in Hindi, Punjabi, German, French and Russian languages as well. Humanities and social sciences are the main subjects of this library. This library is one of the most active institutions of India, where exhibitions, talks, lectures, seminars and workshops are regularly organized for enlightening the environs and dissemination of knowledge. Khuda Bakhsh Library, established for more than 100 years, it came into being with 1400 manuscripts and books of Muhammad Bakhsh, who bequeathed to his son Khuda Bakhsh in 1876 to build an exemplary library for the public. Khuda Bakhsh fulfilled his father's wish and opened this library to the public in 1891. Khuda Bakhsh was born in 1842 in the village of Okhai in Chhapra and died in 1908 and lies buried in eternal rest in the library campus itself. The poet wrote the couplet for someone else But we always remember Khuda Bakhsh Khan while reading this verse. हरगिज न मीरद आँख दिलश जिंदा शुद बाइश्क सप्त अस्त बर जरीदे आलम दवा में माँ. Never dies the one whose heart is alive with passion. His name remains inscribed upon the map of the world forever. Such a personality never dies whose heart is alive with some dedication or passion. His name gets engraved on hearts. The name of the library has created a buzz around the world. And then, so it happens that whenever the name of Persian Arabic manuscripts is mentioned, scholars are over the world instantly remember Khuda Bakhsh Library.
The picture you can see over here is a pillar, a Ashokan pillar that was being carried from one city to another city, and the original Persian work has also been displayed over there. Those are rare ones in the sense that one is on surgery. This is the writing of Humayun 962. The writing of Shah Jahan is available on the manuscript and we have displayed his writing.
On 14th January 1891, Khuda Bakhsh dedicated this library to the public of Patna through a deed of trust. On October 5 of the same year, the scholar Governor of Bengal, Charles Eliot, formally inaugurated the library. At that time, Bihar was a part of the province of Bengal. Initially, it was called Bankipur Oriental Public Library. The library was established in Khuda Bakhsh Khan's personal house and it stands still there today. His house extended up to the banks of Ganga in those days. Today, the library is housed in that very campus, having 4 huge buildings. The British government conferred upon Khuda Bakhsh the title of Khan Bahadur for his public service. He was the secretary of this library throughout his life. From 1895 to 1898, he was the Chief Justice at the Court of Nizam, Hyderabad. In 1969, the Government of India declared it an institution of national importance by an Act of Parliament. And now it is called by its full name as Khuda Bakhsh Oriental Public Library. It is governed by a board, Governor of Bihar as its chairman. 4 members belong to the union and 4 to the state government. The director is its chief executive officer. Since 1969, the library has been running under the patronage of Government of India and today it works with the Ministry of Culture. The library has 2 reading halls. One is for the public called the Curzon Reading Room, which was built in 1905. Newspapers, magazines, and books of interest and need of general students are kept here where they prepare for various competitive exams.
मैं बिहार पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन की प्रिपरेशन करती हूँ। इस लाइब्रेरी को ज्वाइन करने के बाद मुझे अपने प्रिपरेशन में काफ़ी बेनिफिट्स देखने को मिला।
मैं खुदा बख्श लाइब्रेरी में 2019 से रेगुलर आ रहा हूँ और मैं यहाँ पे उसी टाइम से ग्रेजुएशन टाइम से ही मैं सिविल सर्विस का तैयारी कर रहा हूँ।
ऐसा सुविधा जो इस लाइब्रेरी में खुदा बख्श ओरिएंटल पब्लिक लाइब्रेरी में जो आपको मिलेगी वो शायद ही बिहार की कोई और लाइब्रेरी में आपको मिलने वाली है।
मैं यहाँ पे बीपीएससी की तैयारी कर रही हूँ। मैं यहाँ पिछले 1 वर्षों से आ रही हूँ और यहाँ पे आने के बाद मुझे अपने अंदर बहुत से पॉजिटिव चेंजेस देखने को मिले। यहाँ पे पढ़ाई का माहौल बहुत अच्छा है।
The people who work here, they just don't work as they are doing a job. They work as they are so much passionate about this library. They do so much hard work. They do work for us they give us books, they give us knowledge and everything.
मैं पीसीएस के लिए तैयारी कर रही हूँ। यहाँ का माहौल काफ़ी लाइब्रेरी से काफ़ी अच्छा है और यहाँ पे सारी फैसिलिटीज़ दी गई हुई हैं।
हमने इंजीनियरिंग कंप्लीट किया 2020 में, उसके बाद मैं सिविल सर्विसेज की तैयारी में आया, जिसके वजह से मुझे पटना आना पड़ा। पटना आए तो यहाँ खुदा बख्श लाइब्रेरी पहुँचे तो यहाँ का माहौल हमको बहुत अच्छा लगा।
मैं पीसीएस के लिए प्रिपरेशन कर रहा हूँ और पीसीएस के प्रिपरेशन के लिए एक माहौल होना चाहिए जो कि मुझे मेरा रूम में जहाँ मैं रह रहा है वहाँ मैं नहीं मिल पा रहा था।
जो मैम हैं वो समय समय पे बहुत सारे सेमिनार ऑर्गेनाइज करती हैं और ये सब चीज़ें कहीं ना कहीं हमें पढ़ने को मोटिवेट करता है।
एक रूटीन यहाँ पे फॉलो हो गया। यहाँ पे आने के बाद जो घर पे माहौल नहीं मिल पाता वो यहाँ पे माहौल मिला है, तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा है।
The second one is the research hall for researchers, which is in the main library building where books, manuscripts and periodicals are consulted. The library also has the facility of lending books for home study on membership basis. Research and reference services are provided continuously. Digital copies of reading material is also provided to the scholars as per requirement.
दूसरी बड़ी लाइब्रेरी खुदा बख्श ओरिएंटल पब्लिक लाइब्रेरी है। कम से कम मखतूतात, जिसको हिंदी में पांडुलिपि, अंग्रेजी में मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स कहते हैं, और यहाँ 36,000 मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स हैं। और इसके ऊपर मिस्र में है जिसमें 42,000 समथिंग मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स हैं। यहाँ हम लोगों ने अपने ज़माने में नया निगम के रिसाला ज़माना की 1908 से लेकर 1952 तक के मज़ामीन की अलग अलग फहरिस्त तैयार की थी, जो 27 वॉल्यूम में छपी हुई है और यहाँ के स्टैक पे लगी है, आप उसे देख सकते हैं।
पूरे विश्व भर में ये प्रसिद्ध है पांडुलिपियों के लिए, यानी मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट जो हैं उसके लिए ये खुदा बख्श ओरिएंटल पब्लिक लाइब्रेरी जो है पूरी दुनिया में जाना जाता है। और यहाँ रिसर्च के काम के लिए दुनिया भर से लोग आते हैं।
हमारा ताल्लुक़ जो है इकोनॉमिक्स से है, तो सोशल साइंसेज की किताबें यहाँ भी बहुत हैं, हिस्ट्री की किताबें बहुत हैं। यहाँ पे रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स आते हैं, मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट देखते हैं, उनको भी इससे काफ़ी फ़ायदा होता है। हमारा यहाँ कर्जन रूम, रीडिंग रूम हॉल है, वहाँ पे कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्ज़ाम की तैयारी करने वाले बच्चे आते हैं, उनको भी काफ़ी फ़ायदा होता है। वहाँ भी काफ़ी किताबें हैं, वहाँ काफ़ी सुविधाएँ हैं। वहाँ पे एसी लगा हुआ है, पानी की सुविधा है, और 50 या सैकड़ों की तादाद में बच्चे आते हैं, रोज़ सुबह लाइन लग जाती है।
मैं विगत 30 ईयर से इस लाइब्रेरी का रीडर रहा हूँ और इसके विभिन्न एक्टिविटी में शामिल रहा हूँ। और ये एक हिस्टोरिकल और इंटरनेशनल लाइब्रेरी है, रिसर्च लाइब्रेरी है।
कर्नल एम के सिन्हा को मैंने लेक्चर में देखा है। यहाँ के कई कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट को मैंने देखा है, यानी मल्टी डायमेंशनल्स लोग आया करते थे। यहाँ प्रोफेसर हसन अस्करी साहब बैठा करते थे, द ग्रेट हिस्टोरियन ऑफ द एशिया। तब वहाँ इंग्लैंड और अमेरिका से बच्चे स्कॉलर्स आते थे हिस्ट्री में काम करने।
ये लाइब्रेरी ये दुनिया की मशहूर लाइब्रेरीज़ में है, चूँकि यहाँ मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स बहुत हैं। ऐसी रेयर किताबें हैं जो दुनिया की किसी लाइब्रेरीज़ में नहीं हैं। और इसका सबसे ज़्यादा फ़ायदा, चूँकि बिहार में ये लोकेटेड है, पटना में लोकेटेड है, तो इससे सबसे ज़्यादा फ़ायदा बिहार के लोगों को मिलता है।
Publication division is an important department of the library, where more than 800 titles have been published so far. Facsimile editions, edited versions, and translations of the library's rare manuscripts are also published. Among them, Diwan-e-Hafiz, Sirat-e-Feroz-Shahi, Maktubat-e-Sadi, Muzaffarnama, Safarnama-e Behbahani, Rubaiyat-e Bakharzi. Among the latest epoch-making publications of the library are worth mentioning the oldest Hindi dictionary of 1674, Mother Assassinated. The Big Partition is a rare work on the partition of India. Persian Arabic manuscripts on Hinduism preserved in the library. Catalogue of the entire collection of the manuscripts of the library, which has been prepared in the international language. Beauties of the calligraphic art in Khuda Bakhsh. Mughal and Turkish art of miniature paintings are the most important recent publications. Apart from this, the indices of the learned periodicals and their selections are also published. A quarterly research journal of the library is being published since 1977. So far, 214 issues of the journals have been published. Special subjects of the journal and publications are history, culture, Ionian medicine, comparative religions, Islamic studies, literature, biography, Sufism, and manuscriptology. Its research papers are published in Urdu, English, Hindi, Arabic, and Persian languages. The library promotes research and scholarly pursuits. Until recently, some 10 to 15 research scholars worked on the library's manuscripts here as research fellows. The library is recognized by 7 universities in India for PhD and DLED degrees. The library confers every year Khuda Bakhsh Award on eminent scholars on the subjects of Arabic, Persian, literature, comparative study of religions, Ionian medicine, Sufism, Islamic studies, history of medieval India, Indian civilization and culture, and national movement, of course, composite culture. This is the place where the great intellectuals of the world came and delivered lectures. The series of Khuda Bakhsh annual and extension lectures is going on since the last 50 years in the library. World's leading scholars and experts in science and arts have been honoring the library by their visits and delivering their learned lectures on the subjects of their expertise, such as Bruce Lawrence, Barbara Metcalf, Bipin Chandra, A.M. Khusraw, B.N. Pandey, Sayyid Hasan Askari, Qazi Abdul Wadood, R.S. Sharma. The library also has an audio-visual archives which preserves audio tapes, video cassettes, and CDs of talks by eminent academic and literary figures. This collection is being digitized to generate about 20,000 manuscripts and some 14,000 mini manuscripts or the letters of the eminents of the subcontinent. These have been catalogued and are available on the website of the library. The library is busy digitizing its rare manuscripts and work is being done in-house. The library has its own conservation and preservation lab, which is taking due care of the rare items as per requirements. It may be mentioned that the Khuda Bakhsh Khan was not only fond of collecting books, but was known for his interest in Islamic studies, who wrote quite a few research papers and prepared a voluminous introduction to the manuscripts of his library called Mehbubul Albab. It was published in 1898 during his sojourns in Hyderabad. Khuda Bakhsh Khan invested every single penny he earned to enrich the library. During his lifetime, this library became famous far and wide. People came from all corners of the world to see his rare collection of manuscripts. It became so famous that the Viceroy of that time, Lord Curzon, also paid a special visit to the library in 1903. The Curzon Reading Room, built in 1905, still commemorates a visit of the scholar Viceroy. And Curzon did another great thing when his eyes were dazzled by the glittering rarities of this library. He invited one of the greatest Orientalists and manuscriptologists of his time, Sir Denison Ross, who was entrusted with the task of making this priceless treasure fully known to the world. And so began the research-oriented task of descriptive cataloging of these manuscripts. In 1908, the first volume appeared on the manuscripts of Persian poetry. And the very first volume set such a standard and created such a sensation that it was in demand all over the world. And the reputation of the library spread to far-off lands. And the scholars watched with wonder and appreciation.
Our esteemed director, and to say very, very briefly how nice it is to be in Patna again, almost exactly 3 years after I was here last time. And I've still, in those 3 years, been pursuing the same subject, which concerns how history is illustrated in manuscripts, because it's obviously one of the topics that you think might be illustrated in the chronicle. And indeed, this is the case.
You will be surprised and happy to hear that this great scholarly work called Descriptive Catalogue 1908 to 2008 is still in progress. 44 volumes, whereof have been published so far. About half of the manuscripts have been described in detail in these volumes, the greater half of which is still to be covered. The name of 6 viceroys of the subcontinent, 5 Rashtrapatis of India, Prime Minister and Gandhiji are among the distinguished guests who visited the library. It is the place visited by famous people of India and abroad.
बाबू कुंवर सिंह की आप पिक्चर भी देख सकते हैं सर, और वी हैव अ लेटर ऑफ कुंवर सिंह आल्सो, जो उन्होंने 1857 एडिटिंग करने के लिए और ट्रांसलेशंस करने के लिए काफी वक्त काम किया। 4 साल ही हुए वो स्कैनर्स खरीद लिए थे, तो इन हाउस काम किया है। तो लेटर्स की बड़ी वैरायटी आपको मिलेगी।
To name a few, Dr. Zakir Hussain, Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi, Abul Kalam Azad, Mortimer Wheeler, Viceroy Lord Curzon, and British dignitaries John Simon, Lord Linlithgow, Lord Wavell, Edwina, and Mountbatten, who visited the great treasure house of the manuscripts. Rashtrapati of India, Gyani Zail Singh, Shankar Dayal Sharma, Venkat Raman, APJ Abul Kalam, Ramnath Kovind, and Vice President Justice Hidayatullah and Hamid Ansari also visited this library. Great scientists C.V. Raman, J.C. Bose also visited the library. All of them have left their beautiful impressions about the antiquities of the library here in their own handwritings. The rarities of the library have been described in detail by renowned historians Sir Jaduna Sarkar and Scott O'Connor. The most important ancient manuscript in the library is a page of the Holy Quran written in Kufi script on parchment, attributed to Hazrat Ali. Another valuable copy of the Quran is transcribed by Yaqut al-Mustasimi, the famous calligrapher of Abbasid era. It is written in the 13th century AD. The Holy Quran of Mughal Royal Library is the work of 17th century, is highly illustrated and embellished work. A rare copy of Diwan-e-Hafiz of the 16th century is housed in the library, which was consulted by the Mughal emperors to take omens. Handwritings of Humayun and Jahangir are found at the margins of this manuscript, dated 962 Hijri and 1024 Hijri respectively. A facsimile edition of the same has been published by the library, making this manuscript accessible to the scholars all over the world.
गाइडेंस मिलती थी, इसको कहेंगे टू टेक आउट द ओमेंस। ये बता रहे हैं कि कब कब किस किस मौके से इन्होंने फाल निकाली कि किसी काम को करना है या नहीं करना है, इनके लिए वो काम शुभ होगा या अशुभ होने वाला है।
In terms of the best miniature paintings, illustrations and highly illuminated manuscripts and of historical importance is the Timurnama or Tarikh-e-Khandane Timuriya. It was written in Akbar's 22nd regnal year. Its authenticity is testified by Shah Jahan himself in his own handwriting. It contains more than 100 paintings by the court artists of Akbar. No other copy of this manuscript exists in the world. It is not only an important source for the study of the social, cultural, economic, political conditions of the period, but is immensely important for the study of the history of military art.
ये मिनिएचर पेंटिंग का एक बहुत खूबसूरत तरीन नमूना है। ख़ास बात इसकी ये है कि इसमें प्योर गोल्ड यूज़ किया गया है और जो कलर्स तैयार कर रहे हैं वो प्रेशियस ज्वेल्स से तैयार किए जा रहे हैं। रूबीज़, सफ़ायर्स, एमरल्ड्स और टोपसिस जो पत्थर होते हैं, कीमती पत्थरों से ये कलर्स तैयार किए जा रहे हैं। और इसकी ख़ास बात ये है कि ये मिलिट्री हिस्ट्री के लिए, मिलिट्री आर्ट के लिए बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट सोर्स है।
Another rare manuscript on Indian history is Sirat-e-Firoz Shahi, which provides a detailed account of the period of Sultan Firoz Shah's 38 years reign, specially focusing on the architectural beauties and scientific experiments of Firoz Shah's era. A facsimile edition of the manuscript was published. Its English translation by the famous historian Professor Syed Hasan Askari has been recently published by the library. Another important manuscript is the Shahenshah Nama, written by Hussaini, the work of the 16th century AD about the Sultan of Turkey, Muhammad III, is a highly illuminated and illustrated manuscript in Persian language. It was preserved in Shah Jahan's personal library. There are seals of many Mughal nobles and princes on it, especially those of Princess Jahanara are worth visiting. It is known for its remarkable miniature paintings, colors being prepared out of jewels and gold. Among the most important Arabic manuscripts, Kitabul Hashayash, which was written in the 11th century AD. It contains pictures of more than 350 herbs and a detailed description of their medical properties. Another important work in the same series is Az-Zahrawi's Kitabut Tasrif, which is on medical science. This 17th century manuscript is illustrated and includes pictures of medical instruments used in surgery in those days. Among the Urdu manuscripts, there is an illustrated copy of Muraqqa Miratul Muluk or Album of the Emperors, produced during the time of Maharaja Ranjit Singh or his successors. It includes brief account of the Timurid sultans and other medieval rulers with their portraits. The rulers of Delhi and the architectural monuments of Delhi are well described and illustrated.
बहुत बारीक काम इसमें देख सकते हैं. प्योर गोल्ड का इसमें यूज़ हुआ है और वही प्रेशियस स्टोन्स से कलर्स तैयार किए गए हैं और इसमें ऐसा महसूस होता है जैसे ये अभी कल ही तैयार किया गया हो. शादी ब्याह के भी सीन है इसके अंदर. मुख्तलिफ मौक़ों की तस्वीरें हैं. पोर्ट्रेट्स जो हैं बड़े खूबसूरत हैं. अकबर की, शेरशाह के और जहांगीर के.
It is a wonderful example of calligraphy and book decoration. A large number of waslis as examples of calligraphic art are also preserved in the library. Art pieces of famous calligraphers like Yaqut al-Mustasimi, Abdul Rashid Dalami, Mir Imad al-Hussaini, Mir Ali al-Katib, Muhammad Hussain Kashmiri, Nurullah, Lutf Ali, Raza Hussaini are preserved here. The library also has some very precious rare printed books. The oldest among them is a history of the Arabs published in 1625, which includes the Arabic text along with the Latin translation. All volumes of David Hume's History of England, published in 1806, are available in the library. Lord Byron's famous poem, Ode to Napoleon, has 2 stanzas written in Byron's own handwriting, which makes it rare and valuable. Some 30 years after the Khuda Bakhsh, 2 great scholars rose to be the foremost researchers who introduced thousands of the library manuscripts to the academic world. These scholars researched on the countless manuscripts of the library, extracting precious gems from them, wrote hundreds of historical, scientific and literary research papers on the rare material of the library, now collected and published by the library in several volumes. These 2 great scholars were Qazi Abdul Wadud and Sayyid Hasan Askari of Patna. And then comes Father Paul Jackson, who came from Australia and settled in Patna, who spent all his life in reading and researching on Sufism in Khuda Bakhsh Library. People would always remember Askari Jackson's joint sitting in the library. Father Jackson was a Christian Sufi. These Sufis are called Jesuits. The attraction of Indian Sufi saints drew them to India. He spent his whole life reading the manuscripts of Khuda Bakhsh Library. His most important and comprehensive work on Sufism is the English translation of Sufi Yahya Maneri's Persian letters, 100 letters or Maktubat-e-Sadi. The library also discovered, published an important manuscript of Maktubat-e-Sadi contemporaneous to the time of Makhdum Maneri, preserved in the library. An important part of this library is the museum, where ancient scientific instruments can be seen. Among them, various types of astrolabes of 1627, 1637 and 1663 are very important. There are a number of brass and copper vessels with beautiful carvings, besides poison-proof glass and plates, and a variety of guns are kept here. Portraits of Mughal queens carved on ivory, a dagger of Bayram Khan, and the stick of Prince of Wales are also available here. After Khuda Bakhsh Khan, the unique personality combining academics and administrative expertise, who played a distinguished role in making this institution a world-famed library with his highest scholarly researches and administrative pursuits, is Dr. Abid Raza Bedar. So much so that the library became synonymous with his name. It was his tenure that Khuda Bakhsh rose to its eminence and saw its golden period. After the Khuda Bakhsh Library Act passed by the Parliament in 1969, Dr. Bedar became the major regular director of the library, who served the institution for nearly 25 years. Even today, he is engaged in promoting and developing the library by devoting his precious time and energies.
कॉलेज की तालीम हो या यूनिवर्सिटी की तालीम हो या मदरसे की तालीम हो या पाठशाला की तालीम हो, नॉलेज कहाँ से मिले? अब नॉलेज के सामने के तरीके तो यही है, कॉलेज है, यूनिवर्सिटी है, स्कूल है। नॉलेज हासिल करने का दूसरा जरिया लाइब्रेरी है। लाइब्रेरियों के ज़रिए नॉलेज हासिल करते थे लोग, पढ़ते थे। इल्म फैलाने का एक ज़रिया है, तरीका है लाइब्रेरियाँ जो स्थापित होती हैं। यानी यूनिवर्सिटियों, कॉलेजों के अलावा ओपन एक्सेस, खुला हुआ दरबार है, जो चाहो लूट लो। लाइब्रेरियन का फ़र्ज़ है कि जो कुछ भी वो कोई आके पढ़ने के लिए मांगे, फ़ौरन उनके लिए हाजिर कर दे। खुदा बख्श लाइब्रेरी इस मैदान में तकरीबन 100-150 साल से खिदमत कर रही है लोगों की। बस खाने पीने का तो ले लेते थे, बाकी सब पैसा किताबों पे लगा देते थे, किताबों पे खरीदे। और किताबें वो सी वाली जो हाथ की लिखी हुई, वो हिंदी में पांडुलिपि कहते हैं, उर्दू में मखतूतात, इसकी ख़रीद पे इन्हीं की बदौलत जो अपना पैसा खर्च करते थे बेलाग, आज ये हो गया कि ये सारा सरमाया, ये दौलत गवर्नमेंट उसकी देख-रेख कर रही है।
Before his arrival in Khuda Bakhsh, Dr. Iqbal Hussain and Professor Kalimuddin Ahmad served the library as director for 2 years each, while after Dr. Bedar, 3 persons served the institution as director, namely Mr. H.R. Chigani, Dr. Ziauddin Ansari and Dr. Imtiaz Ahmad. Dr. Imtiaz Ahmad, the famous historian of Bihar, served the library for about 10 years. After he retired in 2014, for several years there was no regular director in the library, and it was only in April 2019 that Shayesta Bedar joined the library as its director. Today again, this library is serving the academic world and functioning as a very dynamic institution.
मिस्ट्री ही है ये कि 30 साल बाद यहाँ मुझे आके लाइब्रेरी की सेवा करने का मौका मिला एज ए डायरेक्टर। 2019 अप्रैल में मैंने यहाँ एज ए डायरेक्टर ज्वाइन किया। इससे पहले मैं अलीगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी लाइब्रेरी में सर्व कर रही थी। वहाँ के मैनस्क्रिप्ट डिवीज़न और ओरिएंटल डिवीज़न को मैंने सर्व किया 20 साल से ज़्यादा, और फिर मुझे यहाँ भेज दिया गया इस लाइब्रेरी को जाके बनाया जाए, संवारा जाए। नॉलेज को यानी बुक्स को, मैनस्क्रिप्ट्स को अक्वायर करना, हासिल करना, उनको प्रिजर्व करना और डिसेमिनेशन ऑफ नॉलेज, ये हमारे ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं। और इसके साथ साथ ये भी ज़रूरी है कि किताबों को पढ़ने वाला, उस पर रिसर्चेस करने वाला, उससे फ़ायदा उठाने वाला, जिसे इंसान कहते हैं, वो बाकी रह जाए। और इंसान कैसे बाकी रहेगा? ताकि जब हमारी यहाँ एक हार्मोनियस सोसाइटी होगी, इंटरफेथ अंडरस्टैंडिंग का माहौल होगा, तो इंसान बचा रहेगा। हमारे ऑब्जेक्टिव्स में ये भी है कि हम इंटरफेथ अंडरस्टैंडिंग को प्रमोट करते चलें, उस पर काम करें और एक हार्मोनियस सोसाइटी डेवलप करते चलें।
Khuda Bakhsh Library has published more than 100 books in the last 5 years. Among them, the most important is the oldest Hindi dictionary of 1674. Hindu Pandulipiyan preserved in Khuda Bakhsh, Mother assassinated, The Big Partition, are worth reading. More than 100 lectures, seminars, and exhibitions were conducted on history, culture, Sufism, interfaith understanding, and freedom movement. Speakers were the experts in their fields, both from India and abroad. Khuda Bakhsh Library has been playing an important role in strengthening India's international relations, thanks to its precious Arabic-Persian manuscripts on the subjects of mutual importance like history, culture, language and literature, and the religions of the world. It is hoped that this valuable heritage is considered as one of the most important libraries in the world, will continue to spread knowledge and attract scholars from all over the world, and will continue to give the nation an opportunity to be proud of its precious heritage.